The card hits the green, felt with a snap that silences 20 people at once. Caleb Ross doesn't blink. His fingers rest flat on the table edge, still as stone, while the woman across from him leans back in her crimson tuxedo jacket and laughs. A sound like champagne bubbles breaking against crystal. $2 million, Sabrina Vale says, her diamond earrings catching the chandelier light as she tilts her head. Beat me, Janitor, and it's yours. Phones rise around the table. Camera flashes pop white and blinding. The men in tailored suits shift in their leather chairs, smirking into their whiskey glasses. One of them, a tech investor with slick back hair, whispers to his neighbor, and they both chuckle. Caleb's uniform smells like bleach and floor polish. The mop he left leaning against the wall drips water on a marble that costs more per square foot than his monthly rent. He shouldn't be sitting here. He knows it. They know it. Sabrina knows it most of all. Deal, Caleb says. Hi, viewers. Kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The dealer, a thin man with nervous hands, shuffles the deck twice, cuts it once, and begins dealing. 2 cards slide across the felt toward Caleb. 2 more toward Sabrina. The crowd presses closer. Someone's cologne is too strong. Someone else breathes through their mouth. Sabrina picks up her cards without looking at them, her red nails glossy under the light. She's watching Caleb instead, studying him like he's a bug under glass. You know what I love about people like you? She asks, voice smooth as silk over razors. You always think hard work beats talent. Caleb glances at his cards. Jack of hearts. 3 of clubs. Nothing. He sets them face down and folds his hands over them. I don't think anything, ma'am, he says quietly. I just play. The first community cards land. Flop. King of spades, 9 of diamonds, 2 of hearts. Random. Meaningless. The kind of hand that makes amateurs sweat. Sabrina bets 5,000. Symbolic chips provided by the casino owner for this little circus. The crowd oos like they're watching fireworks. Caleb matches without hesitation. Turn card. 7 of clubs. Sabrina's smile widens. She bets another 10,000. The cameras zoom closer. One of the suited men mutters, he's done. Caleb matches again. River card. Ace of spades. The table goes quiet. Not the comfortable quiet of respect. The heavy, anticipatory quiet of a crowd waiting for blood. Sabrina leans forward, elbows on felt, and pushes all her chips to the center. All in, she purrs. Show me what you've got, floor boy. Caleb's hand doesn't shake when he reaches for his chips. It doesn't shake when he slides them forward to match her bet. It doesn't shake when he flips his cards face up. Jack of hearts. 3 of clubs. Pair of threes. The room exhales. Someone laughs. Another person claps once, slow and mocking. Sabrina's eyes glitter like cut glass as she reaches for her own cards. But before she can flip them, Caleb speaks. You telegraphed your hand 30 seconds ago, he says, voice barely louder than the hum of the chandelier. Your left eyebrow twitched when the ace hit. You got ace-king. 2 pair, aces and kings. Sabrina freezes. Her fingers hover over her cards. Caleb continues, softer now. But you didn't see what I saw. He gestures toward the community cards still spread on the table. King. 9. 2. 7. Ace. The suited men lean in, squinting. I don't have 3 of clubs, Caleb says. He flips his cards again, but this time, the light catches them differently. The 3 of clubs is gone. In its place, 3 of hearts. The dealer's face drains white. He checks the deck, recounts, stammers something about a mistake. But Caleb isn't looking at him. He's looking at Sabrina. I played the hand you expected, he says. Not the one I had. Sabrina flips her cards. Ace of diamonds. King of clubs. 2 pair, exactly as he predicted. But when the dealer examines the community cards again, rechecks them under the overhead light, the 7 of clubs has shifted position. The angle is wrong. And suddenly, impossibly, the board reads differently. Someone in the crowd gasps. Another person shouts, wait, check the sequence. The casino owner, Mr. Langford, a silver-haired man in a navy suit, steps out from the shadows near the doorway. He's been watching. He's been watching the whole time. Stop, Langford says, voice cutting through the chaos. Replay the footage. The room holds its breath while a security guard rewinds the overhead camera feed on a tablet. 30 seconds of silence. Then the guard's hand stops moving. His eyes go wide. "Sir," the guard whispers, "the cards, they match what he said." The janitor played it perfectly. Sabrina's face turns the color of cold marble. Her lips part, but no sound comes out. Around her, the men in suits exchange glances, confused, unsettled, suddenly aware they've witnessed something they don't understand. Caleb stands. He wipes his palms on his apron, picks up his mop, and turns toward the door. "Wait," Sabrina snaps, finding her voice. "You can't just—" "Who are you?" Caleb pauses, doesn't turn around. "Someone you should have seen," he says. And then Langford speaks again. This time, his words land like thunder. "Ms. Vale, you just lost to the man who saved this casino from bankruptcy 3 years ago. What would you do if the person you underestimated turned out to be the smartest one in the room?" Drop a comment below. The security footage plays on loop. Sabrina watches her own face freeze mid-laugh, watches the janitor's hands move with surgical precision, watches the exact moment her confidence cracks like ice underweight. She's standing in Langford's private office now. Wood-paneled walls, leather chairs that cost more than cars, a view of the casino floor below, where tourists pull slot machine levers and lose money they can't afford. She's not laughing anymore. "Rewind it," she says. Langford's assistant, a woman with dark skin and sharper eyes, taps the screen. The footage jumps backward. Caleb deals. Caleb folds. Caleb watches. Every movement economical. Every glance calculated. He didn't cheat, Langford says from behind his desk. He's lighting a cigar, the smoke curling blue-gray toward the ceiling. "I had 4 cameras on him. He played clean." "Then how?" Sabrina's voice is tight, strained. Her manicured nails dig into her palms. "No one reads me that well. No one." Langford exhales smoke through his nose. "You've been playing poker for what? 8 years? 10? 12? Caleb Ross studied game theory at MIT for 3 years before his wife got sick. Langford taps ash into a crystal tray. He dropped out to take care of her. She died 18 months later. Leukemia left him with a 9-year-old daughter and medical debt that would crush most men. Sabrina stares at the screen. At the janitor who isn't just a janitor. At the man whose reflection she never bothered to notice in the polished floors he cleaned. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" she asks. "Because he didn't want me to." Langford leans back in his chair. 3 years ago, someone tried to hack our payment systems. Would have drained every account we had. Caleb caught it. Wrote me an anonymous email with a solution so elegant our entire IT department couldn't figure out how he did it. Saved us $40 million. Sabrina's throat tightens. "And you hired him as a janitor?" "I offered him a job in security. He said no." Langford's smile is thin and humorless. Said he needed something simple. Something that let him be home for his daughter at night. The footage plays. Caleb stands. Caleb walks. Caleb disappears through the VIP room doors with his mop bucket rolling behind him. "He humiliated me," Sabrina whispers. "No." Langford's voice hardens. "You humiliated yourself." The words hit like a slap. Sabrina spins toward him, jaw tight, but Langford's already standing, adjusting his cufflinks. "You've built a career on reading people, Ms. Vale. But you only see what you expect to see. Wealth, status, power. You missed the man standing 2 feet away because he didn't fit your script." Sabrina opens her mouth, closes it. Her reflection stares back at her from the dark window. Crimson jacket, diamond earrings, a woman who suddenly looks very small. "Where is he now?" she asks. Langford checks his watch, probably putting his daughter to bed. The apartment smells like spaghetti sauce and old carpet. Caleb stands at the stove, stirring a pot while Nia sits at the kitchen table, coloring a picture of a dragon with purple scales and too many teeth. She hums while she works, some song from a cartoon he doesn't recognize. "Daddy, is this dragon scary enough?" she asks, holding up the paper. Caleb glances over. The dragon's eyes are mismatched sizes, and one wing is bigger than the other. "It's perfect. Terrifying, he says. Nia grins and goes back to coloring. Her braids are coming loose. He'll need to redo them tomorrow. And there's a smudge of red marker on her cheek. She's wearing her favorite pajamas, the ones with the rockets on them. Did you have a good day at work? She asks without looking up. Caleb pours sauce over noodles. It was interesting. Did you clean the fancy room? I did. The one with the big, sparkly lights. That's the one. Nia nods, satisfied. She doesn't know what happened in that room tonight. Doesn't know her father sat across from a woman who makes more in one poker game than most people earn in a lifetime. Doesn't know he beat her without raising his voice or losing his calm. And that's how Caleb wants it. He brings 2 plates to the table. Nothing fancy, just pasta and butter and a little Parmesan he bought on sale. Nia sets down her crayons and digs in immediately, twirling noodles on her fork with the concentrated focus of someone defusing a bomb. You know what Miss Taylor said today? Nia asks between bites. What's that? She said smart people don't always look smart. She said sometimes the smartest person in the room is the one nobody's paying attention to. Caleb's fork stops halfway to his mouth. He looks at his daughter, really looks at her, and something warm and painful swells in his chest. Miss Taylor sounds like a wise woman, he says quietly. Nia shrugs. I guess. She also said my handwriting looks like a chicken wrote it. Caleb laughs, the first real laugh he's had in days. Nia giggles too. And for a moment, the cramped kitchen with its peeling linoleum and humming refrigerator feels like the richest place in the world. But later, after Nia's asleep and Caleb's washing dishes in the dim light over the sink, his phone buzzes. Unknown number. He almost doesn't answer. But something, instinct curiosity, the same thing that helped him read Sabrina's tells, makes him swipe to accept. Mr. Ross. The voice is female, controlled, expensive. This is Sabrina Vale. Caleb's hand tightens on the phone. How do you get this number? I have resources. A pause. I need to talk to you. We don't have anything to talk about. I think we do. Her voice shifts. Less ice, more steel. You embarrass me tonight. In front of people who matter. People who will remember. Caleb sets down the dish he's holding. Outside, a siren wails past, distant and fading. That wasn't my intention, he says. Then what was? He's quiet for a long moment. When he speaks again, his voice is soft but unyielding. You needed to understand something. And what's that? That respect isn't something you buy with chips. Silence on the other end. Then, barely audible, meet me tomorrow. Noon. The cafe across from the casino. Why would I do that? Because I'm not done learning. Sabrina's voice cracks, just slightly. And neither are you. The line goes dead. Caleb stares at his phone, at his reflection in the darkened screen, and wonders if he just made a mistake. Do you think he should meet her or walk away? Comment your answer below. The cafe smells like burnt coffee and yesterday's pastries. Caleb sits in a corner booth, back to the wall, watching the door. It's a habit he picked up years ago. Always know your exits. Always see who's coming. The table's sticky. The vinyl seat has a tear that catches his jeans. But the coffee's hot and cheap, and nobody here knows his name. Sabrina arrives 6 minutes late. She's dressed down, or what passes for dressed down in her world. Black jeans, white blouse, sunglasses that probably cost more than his car. She spots him immediately, weaves between tables, slides into the seat across from him without asking. You came, she says. You asked. She removes her sunglasses. Without stage lighting and an audience, she looks different. Younger. Tired. There are faint shadows under her eyes that makeup can't quite hide. I didn't sleep, she admits. Kept replaying that hand. Kept trying to figure out where I missed the tell. You didn't miss it, Caleb says. I gave it to you on purpose. Her jaw tightens. Explain. Caleb wraps both hands around his coffee mug. The ceramic is warm, grounding. You expected me to play scared, to fold early or bet wild. So I played exactly that way at first. Let you think you had me figured out. And then I stopped playing against your cards and started playing against your assumptions. He takes a sip. You weren't watching me. You were watching the version of me you'd already decided existed. Sabrina's fingers drum once on the table. Twice. Then stop. That's not a poker strategy. That's psychology. Poker is psychology, not the way I play it. I know. Caleb sets down his mug. You play numbers, odds, percentages. You're brilliant at it. But you forgot people aren't equations. She flinches like he struck her. For a long moment, she says nothing, just stares at the scratched tabletop, at the ring of water left by someone else's glass. My father taught me poker, she says finally. Taught me that emotion is weakness. That if you let people see what you're thinking, you've already lost. He wasn't wrong. But there's a difference between hiding emotion and ignoring it. Caleb leans forward slightly. You don't just hide what you feel. You erase it. And when you do that, you stop seeing it in other people too. Sabrina's laugh is sharp and bitter. You sound like my therapist. You have a therapist? Bad. I fired her. She meets his eyes. She said I had empathy issues. I told her empathy doesn't win tournaments. Does it win anything else? The question hangs in the air. A waitress passes by, refilling coffee at another table. The espresso machine hisses. Outside, a bus wheezes to a stop. Why'd you really come here? Caleb asks. It's not about the hand. Sabrina's facade cracks. Just a hairline fracture. But it's there. Because for 12 years, I've built my entire identity on being unreadable, untouchable. And in 30 minutes, a janitor with a mop bucket saw through me like I was made of glass. I'm not just a janitor. I know that now. She pulls out her phone, taps the screen, turns it toward him. I'll look you up. MIT, Game Theory. Published 2 papers before you dropped out. One of them is still cited in graduate courses. Caleb doesn't look at the screen. That was a long time ago. Why'd you quit? My wife needed me more than academia did. And after she died, his expression doesn't change, but something behind his eyes goes distant. My daughter needed me more than anything else did. Sabrina's throat works. She sets the phone down. I don't have kids. Never wanted them. My career was everything. Was. After last night, my sponsors are reconsidering their contracts. Apparently losing to a janitor isn't on brand. The bitterness in her voice could strip paint. One televised loss, and suddenly I'm unreliable. Unproven. A has-been at 34. Caleb studies her. Really studies her. The designer clothes and perfect hair and diamond earrings can't hide the exhaustion, the fear, the desperate need to prove something to someone. Maybe herself. You're not a has-been, he says quietly. You're just scared. Of what? Of being human. The words land like stones in still water. Sabrina's eyes go bright and hard, and for a second Caleb thinks she might throw her coffee at him. But then her shoulders drop. Her breath shakes. I don't know how to be anything else, she whispers. Caleb reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out a worn deck of cards. Nothing fancy, just the cheap kind you buy at drugstores. He shuffles once, sets the deck between them. Play a hand with me, he says. Here. No cameras. No audience. No money. Then what's the point? The point, Caleb says, dealing 2 cards to each of them, is to play without armor. Sabrina stares at her cards. King of Diamonds. Queen of Spades. Strong hand. She glances up at Caleb, waiting for his play, but he's not looking at his cards. He's looking at her. Tell me something true, he says. What? The rule. Every hand, you tell me something true about yourself. Doesn't have to be big. Just true. She blinks. That's not poker. No, it's harder. Sabrina's fingers hover over her cards. She could walk away right now. Could leave this dingy cafe and its sticky tables and never look back. But something keeps her in the seat. Maybe curiosity, maybe desperation, maybe the faint hope that this man with sad eyes and calloused hands knows something she doesn't. I'm afraid of being forgotten, she says suddenly. I'm afraid that when I die, no one will remember my name. Caleb nods. I'm afraid my daughter will grow up and realize I wasted the best years of my life cleaning floors. Sabrina's breath catches. They lock eyes across the scratch table, 2 people who've spent years hiding in plain sight, suddenly exposed. Your turn, Caleb says, gesturing to the cards. But before Sabrina can play her hand, the cafe door crashes open. A man in a security uniform strides in, tall, broad-shouldered, with the kind of walk that says he's used to people moving out of his way. He scans the room, spots Caleb, and his expression goes dark. "Mr. Ross," the man says, voice carrying across the cafe. "Mr. Langford needs you at the casino. Right now." Caleb doesn't move. "I'm off duty." "Not anymore." The security guard glances at Sabrina, then back to Caleb. "There's been an incident. Someone hacked the poker tournament database. Deleted every record from last night." Sabrina goes pale. Including the footage of your game." The guard's jaw is tight. "Every camera, every angle, gone." Caleb's hand tightens on his cards. "Who would erase the evidence, and why?" Drop your theory in the comments. The security room smells like sweat and stale energy drinks. 6 monitors glow blue-white in the darkness, each one showing different angles of the casino floor. Slot machines, blackjack tables, the high roller lounge where men in $1,000 suits sip bourbon and pretend they're having fun. Caleb stands behind Langford's head of security, a man named Marcus Webb who has the tired eyes of someone who hasn't slept in 30 hours. "Show me the logs," Caleb says. Marcus taps keys. Code scrolls across the screen, green text on black background. The digital skeleton of the casino surveillance system. Someone accessed the main server at 3:47 a.m. Used an administrator password to wipe the entire event folder for last night's poker game. Which administrator? Marcus hesitates, glances at Langford, who stands in the corner with his arms crossed and his expression carved from granite. "Yours," Marcus says quietly. The room goes silent. Sabrina, who insisted on coming despite Langford's protests, inhales sharply. Caleb doesn't react, just keeps staring at the screen, watching the code scroll past like a language only he can read. "I didn't do this," Caleb says. "I know." Langford's voice is flat, certain. "But someone wants us to think you did." "Why?" "Because you embarrassed the wrong person." Langford moves to the monitors, taps the one showing the VIP room. "Half the people in that room last night have connections. Money. Power. You made them look like fools for laughing at you." Sabrina steps forward. "This is my fault." "What do you figure?" Langford asks. "I baited him. I mocked him. If I hadn't pushed, then someone else would have." Caleb interrupts her, still focused on the screen. "This wasn't about me. Or you. This was about the footage." Marcus frowns. "What do you mean?" Caleb points to a line of code. "Whoever did this didn't just delete the video. They corrupted the backup drives too. That takes knowledge. Real knowledge. This wasn't some amateur trying to hide evidence. This was someone who knows exactly how your system works." "So what are you saying?" Langford asks. "I'm saying this was an inside job." Caleb turns to face the room. "And whoever did it is still here." The air shifts. Marcus's hand drifts toward his radio. Langford's eyes narrow. Sabrina presses her back against the wall, suddenly aware that they're in a locked room with no windows and only one door. "Check the access logs," Caleb says to Marcus. "Not just for last night. Go back 3 weeks. Look for anyone who accessed admin credentials outside normal hours." Marcus's fingers fly across the keyboard. More code. More scrolling. Then he stops. "Here," Marcus says. 2 weeks ago, someone used a guest maintenance login to access the security protocols. They were in the system for 17 minutes. Guest maintenance? Caleb leans closer. Who authorizes those? Department supervisors. Marcus pulls up another screen. According to this, the login was approved by... He trails off. His face goes ashen. By who? Langford demands. Marcus swallows hard. Turns the monitor so everyone can see. The approval signature reads, Caleb Ross. Sabrina's hotel room is on the 23rd floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the ocean, black water stretching to a blacker horizon, dotted with the distant lights of ships that look like fallen stars. She stands at the glass with a whiskey in her hand, staring at nothing. Behind her, Caleb sits on the edge of her bed, head in his hands. "They're going to arrest you," Sabrina says. "Not a question. A fact. Probably. You didn't do this." "I know. So how do we prove it?" Caleb looks up. His eyes are bloodshot, but his mind is still sharp, still calculating angles and odds and probabilities. "We don't. They do." "Who?" "Whoever framed me." He stands, paces to the window. They wanted me gone, which means I'm a threat to something. To what? I don't know yet. Caleb's reflection overlaps with Sabrina's in the dark glass. Two ghosts staring at a world that wants them erased. But whoever they are, they made a mistake. What mistake? They assumed I'd run. His voice goes quiet, dangerous. I'm not running. Sabrina turns to face him. What are you going to do? Find out who authorized that login. Find out why. And prove I wasn't involved. Ow! The same way I beat you at poker. Caleb meets her eyes. By watching what people don't want me to see. For a long moment, they stand there. Two people who were strangers 48 hours ago, now bound by something neither of them fully understands. Trust, desperation, or maybe just the recognition that they're both fighting the same fight against a system designed to crush people who don't fit. I'm coming with you, Sabrina says. Bad idea. I don't care. She sets down her glass. You said I don't see people. Fine. Let me start now. Caleb studies her, sees the determination in her jaw, the fear she's trying to hide, the first fragile cracks in the armor she's worn for a decade. He should say no. Should tell her this isn't her problem. Should protect her the way he protects everyone else. But he doesn't. All right, he says. But we do this my way. Which is quietly, carefully. And we trust no one. Sabrina nods. Where do we start? Caleb pulls out his phone, scrolls through his contacts until he finds a name he hasn't called in 3 years. His thumb hovers over the screen. We start, he says, by talking to the one person who knows every secret in this casino. He hits dial. The phone rings once, twice. Then a woman's voice answers, raspy, cautious, awake despite the late hour. This better be good, Caleb. It's not, he says. I need your help. A pause. Then, I'm listening. Who is this mystery ally? And can they be trusted? Comment below. The parking garage is empty at 2 a.m. Concrete pillars cast long shadows under flickering fluorescent lights that buzz like dying insects. Caleb stands next to his car, a 10-year-old sedan with rust spots on the bumper and a cracked taillight, waiting. Sabrina's beside him, arms crossed, designer heels traded for sneakers she borrowed from the hotel gift shop. You sure she'll come? Sabrina asks. She'll come. And you trust her? Caleb doesn't answer. Trust is a luxury he stopped affording himself the day he signed his wife's death certificate. Headlights sweep across the garage. A black SUV rolls toward them, windows tinted so dark they look like sheets of obsidian. The vehicle stops 20 feet away. Engine idles. No one gets out. Then the driver's door opens. The woman who steps out is in her 50s, dark skin, silver threading through her close-cropped hair, wearing jeans and a leather jacket that's seen better decades. She moves like someone who learned to fight in places that don't have rules, and her eyes scan the garage with the practiced efficiency of a person who survived by noticing things others miss. Janelle, Caleb says. Caleb. Janelle's voice is gravel and honey. She looks at Sabrina. Who's the princess? Sabrina Valli. She's. I know who she is. Janelle's expression doesn't change. Saw the footage before it got scrubbed. Nice hand. Sabrina blinks. You work for the casino? Worked. Past tense. Janelle leans against her SUV. I was head of security for 15 years. Then Langford decided I asked too many questions and gave me a retirement package that was really a gag order. Questions about what? Sabrina asks. Janelle's smile is thin and sharp. About why a casino that pulls in $200 million a year keeps hemorrhaging money from accounts that shouldn't exist. Caleb straightens. You're saying someone's embezzling? I'm saying someone's been skimming for at least 5 years. Small amounts. Untraceable. But it adds up. Janelle pulls a flash drive from her pocket. I kept copies of everything. Transaction logs. Routing numbers. Access codes. All the proof Langford claimed didn't exist when I brought it to him. He knew. Sabrina's voice rises. He knew and fired you anyway. He's protecting someone. Janelle tosses the drive to Caleb. He catches it one-handed. My guess. Someone with enough leverage to destroy him if he talks. Caleb turns the drive over in his palm. It's small. Ordinary. The kind of thing you'd lose in a junk drawer. but it holds the weight of careers, reputations, maybe lives. Why give this to me, he asks. Because you're the only person in that building who isn't playing a game. Janelle's eyes soften, just slightly. You loved your wife. You're raising your daughter right. You clean floors not because you're too dumb for better work, but because you're too smart to chase what you don't need. She pauses. And because someone's trying to frame you for something you didn't do. That means you're getting close to something that matters. Close to what? That's what you need to figure out. Janelle straightens, keys jangling in her hand. But be careful. Whoever's behind this has killed before. The word killed lands like a gunshot. Sabrina goes rigid. Caleb's jaw tightens. Who, he asks. Remember Thomas Reeves? The pit boss who accidentally fell down the stairwell 3 years ago. Caleb nods slowly. He remembers. Everyone remembers. It was ruled an accident. Drunk, slipped, tragic, but simple. He found the same discrepancies I did, Janelle says. Brought them to Langford. Week later, he's dead. Cops closed the case in 48 hours. You think Langford. I think Langford's terrified of whoever's really in charge. Janelle opens her car door. And I think you just painted a target on your back by being too good at cards. She climbs in. The engine growls to life. But before she drives away, she rolls down the window one last time. One more thing, she says. Check who authorized your admin credentials 2 weeks ago. Not just the signature. The IP address. Why? Because it'll tell you where they were when they did it. Her eyes glint. And I'm betting it's somewhere you didn't expect. The SUV pulls away, taillights shrinking to red pinpricks in the darkness. Caleb and Sabrina stand in silence. The garage smells like oil and exhaust. Somewhere above them, a car alarm chirps twice and goes quiet. This is bigger than we thought, Sabrina says. Yeah. What do we do? Caleb pockets the flash drive. We follow the money. They're in Sabrina's hotel room again. Laptop open on the desk, flash drive plugged in, lines of financial data scrolling across the screen like digital rain. Caleb sits, eyes scanning numbers with the speed of someone who learned to read spreadsheets the way other people read novels. Sabrina stands behind him, one hand on the back of his chair. There, Caleb says, pointing. See that routing number? Sabrina squints. It's flagged as internal transfer. But it's not. Caleb opens another window, cross-references the account. That routing number belongs to an offshore bank in the Caymans. Someone's been funneling casino profits through dummy accounts and washing them overseas. How much? Caleb does the math in his head. Conservatively? 12 million over 5 years. Sabrina's breath whistles through her teeth. That's enough to kill for. Yeah. Caleb keeps scrolling. But look at the timing. The transfers spike every 3 months. Always right after major tournaments. Like the one last night. Exactly. Caleb leans back. Whoever's doing this uses the chaos of big events as cover. More money moving, less scrutiny. So they'd want the footage erased. Not just erased. They want me blamed. Caleb's voice goes cold. Because if I'm arrested, the investigation stops. The real thief stays hidden. Sabrina sits on the edge of the bed. Her hands are shaking. We need to go to the police. With what? Stolen data from a fired security chief? They'll bury us before we finish the first sentence. Then what? Caleb pulls up a new file. This one's different. Not financial records, but access logs from the casino's security system. He searches for his own credentials, finds the authorization from 2 weeks ago, and clicks on the IP address. The screen loads. A location populates. Sabrina leans closer. Where is that? Caleb's face drains of color. His fingers freeze on the keyboard. Caleb, that's my daughter's school, he whispers. The room tilts. Sabrina grabs his shoulder. What? The IP address. It's from the public library across from Nia's elementary school. His voice cracks. Someone used my credentials from a place my daughter goes every Thursday for reading hour. Sabrina's stomach drops. They were watching her. They were sending a message. Caleb stands so fast the chair crashes backward. His phone is already in his hand, dialing. 1 ring. 2. 3. Pick up, he mutters. Come on, pick up. 4 rings. Then voicemail. Nia's babysitter's cheerful voice. Hi. You've reached Keisha. Leave a message. Caleb's hand shakes. He tries again. Same result. She's probably asleep, Sabrina says, but her voice lacks conviction. Caleb's already moving, grabbing his jacket, his keys, his wallet. I have to go. I have to check on her. I'm coming with you. No, you stay here. Go through the rest of the data. Find out who. Caleb. Sabrina's voice cuts through his panic like steel. I'm not letting you walk into whatever this is alone. Their eyes meet. In hers, he sees something he didn't expect. Not pity, not obligation, but genuine fear. For him. For Nia. For the invisible little girl whose father just became a target. All right, he says. But we go now. They're halfway to the door when Caleb's phone buzzes. Text message. Unknown number. He opens it. The screen shows a photo. Nia, asleep in her bed, clutching her stuffed dragon. The angle is wrong. Taken from outside her window. Tonight. Maybe minutes ago. Below the photo, 3 words. Stop looking. Or else. Caleb's knees buckle. Sabrina catches him. Holds him upright while his entire world fractures into pieces too sharp to hold. They were my home, he breathes. They were in her room. Sabrina's face hardens. She takes the phone from his trembling hand, studies the photo with the cold calculation of someone who spent a lifetime reading tells and finding weaknesses. Look at the reflection, she says, zooming in the window glass. There's a car outside. Silvestre, partial plate visible. Caleb forces himself to focus. She's right. The reflection shows a vehicle parked across the street. Blurry, but there. Can you read the plate? Partial. TH4. Sabrina squints. The rest is cut off. Caleb's mind races through possibilities, probabilities, patterns. That's enough. We can narrow it down. How? Casino employee parking permits. His voice steadies, sharpens. The panic is still there, but underneath it, something colder and more dangerous takes root. They're registered by license plate. If whoever sent this works at the casino, their car is in the system. But we don't have access to. Janelle does. Caleb's already texting her, fingers flying across the screen. And she owes me for not turning her in 3 years ago when I found her stealing champagne from inventory. Sabrina blinks. You knew she was stealing? It was her daughter's wedding. She couldn't afford the good stuff. Caleb hits send. Some rules are worth breaking. 30 seconds later, Janelle replies, Give me the partial. I'll run it. Caleb sends a photo. Then he turns to Sabrina, and in his eyes, she sees something that makes her step back. Not fear, but focus so intense, it's almost violent. We're going to find who did this, he says quietly. And when we do, they're going to wish they'd never learned my daughter's name. Sabrina nods. What do you need me to do? Go through those financial records. Find every transaction, every account, every person who benefits from this. He grabbed his car keys. I'm going home. I'm getting Nia, and we're disappearing until this is over. Where will you go? Somewhere they won't find us. He pauses at the door. And Sabrina? Yeah. Thank you. She opens her mouth to respond, but he's already gone. Footsteps echoing down the hotel corridor. A father racing against a clock he can't see toward a daughter who doesn't know she's in danger. Sabrina stands alone in the empty room, surrounded by evidence of crime she barely understands. And for the first time in 12 years, she feels something she thought she'd forgotten how to feel. Responsibility for someone other than herself. She sits at the laptop and starts reading. Caleb's apartment is dark when he arrives. Too dark. The porch light he always leaves on is off. The curtain in Nia's window, the one with the cartoon astronauts, hangs crooked like someone pulled it aside and didn't bother fixing it. His hand finds a knife he keeps in his glove compartment. It's small, dull, meant for opening boxes, not fighting. But it's something. He approaches the front door. Tests the knob. Unlocked. His heart hammers. He pushes inside, moving silent as smoke through the living room. The TV is off. Nia's backpack sits by the couch where she always leaves it. Her sneakers, the light-up one she loves, are kicked off near the hallway. Everything looks normal. Everything feels wrong. Nia, he calls softly. No answer. He moves down the hall. Her bedroom door is open 6 inches. He pushes it wider. The bed is empty. Sheets pulled back. Dragon stuffed animal on the floor. Gone. Caleb's world stops. The knife falls from his hand. His knees hit carpet. Then he hears it. Water running in the bathroom. He's up and moving before thought catches up to instinct. Crashes through the bathroom door. And finds Nia standing at the sink, brushing her teeth in her rocket pajamas, earbuds in, humming to music only she can hear. She jumps, toothbrush clattering, into the sink. Daddy! Caleb pulls her in his arms so hard she squeaks. His hands shake as he runs them over her hair, her shoulders, checking for anything wrong, anything missing, anything broken. I'm okay, she mumbles against his chest. You're squishing me. He doesn't let go. Can't let go. Behind them, Keisha, the babysitter, a college student with purple braids and kind eyes, appears in the doorway. Mr. Ross? You okay? I texted you back, but where were you? His voice comes out harsher than intended. Keisha blinks. I was in the kitchen making tea. My phone was charging. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it first. Caleb releases Nia, forces himself to breathe. Did anyone come by tonight? Anyone at all? No. What? He looks at Nia's window. The curtains still crooked. He walks over, examines the lock. Secure. No scratches. No signs of forced entry. But someone was here. He knows it. Feels it in his bones. Daddy, what's wrong? Nia asks, voice small and worried. He turns. Forces a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Nothing, sweetheart. Just we're going on a trip. Now? It's nighttime. I know, but it's important. He starts pulling clothes from her dresser. Pack your favorite things. We're going to stay with a friend for a while. What friend? You'll meet her. Her name's Sabrina. Nia wrinkles her nose. That's a pretty name. Does she like dragons? Caleb's throat tightens. I don't know, but we'll ask her. 20 minutes later, they're in the car. Nia buckled in back with her backpack and stuffed dragon. Keisha sent home in an Uber with extra payment and apologies. Caleb's hands white-knuckled on the steering wheel. His phone buzzes. Text from Janelle. Found your car. Silversedan, plata TH 4889. Registered to Marcus Webb. Your head of security. Caleb's blood turns to ice. Marcus, the man who showed him the hacked logs. The man who claimed someone used Caleb's credentials. The man who's had access to every camera, every password, every secret in the casino for 5 years. The man who just threatened his daughter. Another text from Sabrina. Found something. The offshore accounts? They all trace back to one person. You need to see this. Caleb pulls into the hotel parking lot. Kills the engine. Looks at Nia in the rearview mirror. Already half asleep. Dragon clutched to her chest, trusting her father to keep her safe. He failed once before. Let his wife die while he was too buried in textbooks and theories to see the cancer eating her alive until it was too late. He won't fail again. Stay awake, baby, he says gently. Just a little longer. Nia yawns. Okay, Daddy. They take the elevator to the 23rd floor. Sabrina opens the door before he can knock, sees Nia, sees Caleb's face, and steps aside without a word. Inside, the laptop screen glows. Financial records cover the desk like digital evidence at a crime scene. This is Nia, Caleb says. Sabrina crouches to Nia's level. I'm Sabrina. Your dad says you like dragons? Nia holds up her stuffed animal. This is Ember. He breathes purple fire. Purple fire is the best kind. Sabrina's smile is genuine, warm. Nothing like the Ice Queen from the poker table. You want to watch cartoons while your dad and I talk? Nia nods. Sabrina sets her up on the bed with the TV remote and a blanket from the closet. Then she and Caleb move to the desk, voices low. Marcus Webb, Caleb says. He's the one. I know. Sabrina pulls up a file. He's been skimming money for 6 years. Small amounts at first, then bigger. The offshore accounts? All in his name. Or his wife's. Or shell companies he controls. How much total? 18 million. Give or take. Caleb's jaw clenches. And Langford doesn't know. At least, I don't think he does. Sabrina scrolls through transaction logs. But Marcus has been covering his tracks by flagging random employees for irregular behavior. Creates investigations that go nowhere, but keep suspicion off him. Until I won that hand. Until you won that hand, Sabrina agrees. And suddenly everyone's watching. Everyone's asking questions. The footage gets analyzed. The timeline gets scrutinized. And Marcus realizes his perfect system is about to collapse. So he frames me, deletes the evidence, makes me the villain. And when that doesn't work fast enough, he threatens my daughter. Caleb's fists clench to scare me into running. Or silence. They sit in the charged quiet. On the bed, Nia giggles at something on TV, a sound so pure and innocent it breaks Caleb's heart. We have to go to the police, Sabrina says. With what? Stolen data and theories? Marcus is head of security. He's friends with half the cops in this city. They'll believe him over us. Then what? Caleb stares at the screen. At the numbers that represent lives ruined, trust broken. A man so consumed by greed he'd threaten a 9-year-old to protect it. We make him confess, Caleb says. How do you trap a man who controls all the cameras? Drop your ideas below. The confession happens in the one place Marcus Webb thinks he's untouchable. Caleb stands in the security room at 4 a.m., hands zip-tied behind his back, blood trickling from his split lip. Marcus circles him like a shark, knuckles bruised from the punch that put Caleb on his knees. 3 monitors glow behind them, all showing empty hallways, dark offices, a casino sleeping. You should have run when I gave you the chance, Marcus says. His voice carries the casual menace of a man who's gotten away with worse. But no, you had to play hero. Caleb spits blood. Where's my daughter? Safe. For now. Marcus checks his watch. Keisha's a good babysitter. Shame she's about to witness a home invasion gone wrong. The words land like ice water. Caleb's vision tunnels. Behind Marcus, something flickers on the middle monitor, movement where there shouldn't be any. Marcus doesn't notice. He's too busy savoring his victory. $18 million, Caleb says through gritted teeth. That's what you stole. Marcus grins. Prove it. I already did. The door crashes open. FBI agents flood in, vests, guns, voices shouting commands. Marcus spins, hand reaching for his weapon, but he's already surrounded. And on every monitor, security footage plays. Not from tonight. From 2 weeks ago. Marcus at the library across from Nia's school. Marcus accessing Caleb's credentials. Marcus transferring funds at 3 a.m. when he thought no one was watching. Janelle steps through the doorway, flash drive in hand. You forgot I kept backups of the backups. Marcus's face drains white. The lead agent cuts Caleb's zip ties. Mr. Ross, you're free to go. Caleb doesn't move. Just stares at Marcus, at the man who threatened his daughter, who nearly destroyed his life, and says nothing. Because some men don't deserve words. Outside, dawn breaks over the ocean. Sabrina waits by Caleb's car, Nia asleep in the back seat. It's over, Sabrina asks. Caleb nods. But they both know the real question hangs unspoken between them. What happens now? Subscribe to find out what choices Caleb makes next. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a story that inspires. Drop a comment sharing your thoughts and inspire others with your words. The casino offers Caleb a promotion. Chief of Security, 6-figure salary, corner office with a view that costs more than his entire apartment building. He turns it down in Langford's office while Sabrina watches from the leather chair beside him. Langford's cigar smoke curls toward the ceiling like disappointed ghosts. You're making a mistake, Langford says. No, calibri place. I'm making a choice. 3 weeks later, Caleb stands in a lecture hall at the community college downtown. 30 students scattered across rows of seats, some taking notes, others scrolling phones, a few actually listening. He's teaching introduction to game theory. The pay is terrible. The hours are reasonable. And for the first time in 3 years, he sleeps through the night. Nia sits in the front row after school, coloring dragons in her notebook, while her father explains Nash equilibrium to kids who think math is useless. She doesn't understand the theories, but she understands her dad is happy. Sabrina visits on Thursdays. She quit professional poker, walked away from sponsors, tournaments, the whole glittering circus. Now, she runs a non-profit teaching underprivileged kids financial literacy through card games. The irony isn't lost on her. You ever miss it? Caleb asks one afternoon. They're having coffee at the same sticky table cafe where they played cards without armor. Sabrina thinks about diamond earrings and champagne applause and rooms full of people who knew her name but never knew her. No, she says. I don't. But that evening, alone in her smaller apartment with its ordinary furniture and quiet walls, she opens her laptop. Pulls up the footage from that night, the hand that changed everything. Watches herself laugh at a janitor she didn't see coming. And she wonders who else she's still not seeing. Her phone buzzes. Text from Caleb. Nia wants to know if you like dinosaurs too. Sabrina smiles. Types back. Tell her I love them. 3 dots appear. Then, dinner Sunday? Nia's cooking. Well, microwaving. Sabrina stares at the message. At the invitation to something ordinary and terrifying and real. Her finger hovers over the keyboard. She types, I'll bring dessert. Sunday arrives with rain and the smell of burnt mac and cheese. Nia opens the door wearing an apron 3 sizes too big, flour in her braids. We made cookies, but they exploded. Behind her, smoke detector chirps. Caleb appears with a towel, waving away smoke, looking more disheveled than Sabrina's ever seen him. Welcome to chaos, he says. It's perfect. They eat pizza instead, the cheap kind from the place down the street. And Nia tells long, winding stories about her teacher who thinks chickens can do math. Sabrina laughs until her sides hurt. Caleb watches them both with something warm and fragile in his chest. Later, after Nia's in bed and the dishes are washed, Sabrina and Caleb sit on his worn couch. The TV plays something neither of them watches. I never thanked you properly, Caleb says. For what? For seeing me when no one else did. Sabrina's throat tightens. You saw me first. Maybe we saw each other. The rain drums against windows. Somewhere in the building, a baby cries and stops. Sabrina's hand finds Caleb's on the couch cushion between them. His fingers close around hers, tentative, careful, like holding something that might break. I don't know how to do this, she whispers. Do what? Be normal. Be present. Be someone's... She stops. Can't finish. Caleb squeezes her hand. Neither do I. They sit in the comfortable silence of 2 people learning the same language. Outside, the city hums its endless song. And for the first time in longer than either can remember, the future doesn't feel like a game to win. It feels like something worth building. But Caleb's phone buzzes. Unknown number. He almost ignores it. Learned that lesson, but something makes him look. A photo. Marcus Webb in county jail. And below it, a message. Your testimony put me here. My brother will return the favor. Caleb's hand goes cold. Will Caleb's past finally catch up to him? Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss what happens next. Share your predictions in the comments and inspire others with your support. The courtroom smells like old wood and older promises. Caleb sits in the witness box, hand on a Bible he's not sure he believes in anymore, staring at 12 jurors who will decide if Marcus Webb spends the next 20 years in prison or walks free on technicalities. The prosecutor, a sharp woman named Diane Shun, asks questions Caleb's already answered 50 times. Mr. Ross, can you identify the man who threatened your daughter? Caleb's eyes find Marcus at the defense table. Orange jumpsuit, handcuffs, but his smile is pure venom. That's him. Marcus's lawyer, expensive suit, practice charm, stands for cross-examination. Mr. Ross, isn't it true you have a history of mental health struggles? Caleb's jaw tightens. My wife died. I grieved. That's not a struggle. That's being human. But you sought therapy, correct? Yes. For depression, anxiety, paranoid thoughts about being watched. Dying objects. The judge sustains. But the damage lands. 3 jurors exchange glances. One takes notes. Outside during recess, Sabrina waits on a bench. They're trying to discredit you. I know. Will it work? Caleb doesn't answer. Because he doesn't know. Because justice isn't about truth. It's about what 12 strangers believe when lawyers finish spinning stories. The verdict comes 3 days later. Guilty on 14 counts. Marcus's face crumbles. His brother, sitting in the gallery, all muscle and cold eyes, watches Caleb with the focus of someone marking a target. Caleb feels it. That gaze. That promise. 1 week after sentencing, the threats start. Anonymous emails. Letters with no return address. A brick through Caleb's car window with a note. You took my brother. I take everything. Nia stops, sleeping through the night. Caleb installs cameras, changes locks, teaches his daughter what to do if a stranger approaches. She's 9 years old and learning to be afraid. This has to stop, Sabrina says. They're in Caleb's apartment. Third security consultation this month. We need to disappear. I'm not running. Then what? Caleb stares at the wall map he's made. Red strings connecting locations where threats originated, security footage timestamps, pattern analysis that would make his MIT professors proud. Or worried. I'll find him first, Caleb says quietly. That's insane. So is waiting for him to make good on his promises. Caleb turns. Marcus's brother is named Vincent Webb. Ex-military. Dishonorable discharge. Works private security, but the companies he lists don't exist. How'd you find that out? Janelle still has contacts. Caleb taps a photo pinned to the wall. Vincent Webb. Shaved head, scarred knuckles, eyes that have seen too much and regretted none of it. He's been in Vegas for 2 weeks. Staying at a motel on the east side. Following a pattern. What pattern? Caleb pulls down 3 photos. Different angles. Same man. He's casing my daughter's school. Sabrina's blood runs cold. We call the police. And say what? That a man who hasn't broken any laws is standing on public property? Caleb shakes his head. They can't do anything until he acts. And when he acts, it'll be too late. So what's your plan? Caleb's expression goes dark. Determined. The kind of look that comes from a father who's already lost too much and refuses to lose more. I give him what he wants. Which is me. The next night, Caleb walks into the parking garage alone. No wife. No backup. Just a man with a text message sent to a number he found in Vincent's motel room trash. You want me? Come take me. The garage is empty except for shadows and the drip of water from a leaking pipe. Caleb stands under a flickering light, hands in pockets, breathing steady. Footsteps echo. Vincent emerges from behind a concrete pillar, bigger in person, moving with the controlled violence of someone trained to hurt. You're stupider than I thought, Vincent says. Or smarter. Caleb pulls out his phone. Shows the screen. Every camera in this garage is recording. Every word you say goes straight to the FBI agent who put your brother away. Vincent stops. Eyes narrow. You're bluffing. Am I? Caleb tilts his head. You served 3 tours overseas. Sniper division. Came home with PTSD, no one treated, and anger no one cared about. Your brother was the only family you had left. And when I testified, I took him from you. Vincent's hands curl into fists. You don't know anything about me. I know you're in pain. Caleb's voice softens. I know you think hurting me will make it stop, but it won't. It'll just add more weight to what you're already carrying. For a moment, just one fragile moment, something cracks in Vincent's expression. Something human and wounded and lost. Then it's gone. He lunges. But Caleb anticipated it. Sidestepped. And from the shadows, Janelle appears, taser in hand, backup behind her. Vincent hits the ground, convulsing. Agents swarm. It's over in seconds. Caleb watches them cuff Vincent, read him rights, drag him toward waiting vehicles. And he feels nothing. Not victory. Not relief. Just exhaustion. Sabrina appears at his side. You okay? Ask me tomorrow. But tomorrow brings something unexpected. A letter. Handwritten. From Marcus Webb in prison. Caleb reads it standing in his kitchen while Nia eats cereal and Sabrina makes coffee. The letter says, I'm sorry. Not for what I did to you, but for what I made my brother believe he had to do. You were right that night in the security room. Some men don't deserve words. I'm one of them. Caleb folds the letter, puts it in a drawer, doesn't show anyone, because some apologies arrive too late to matter. Will this family finally find peace? Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the conclusion. Drop a comment about second chances and inspire others with your story. 6 months later, Caleb stands at his wife's grave. Fresh flowers replace the wilted ones. Daisies, her favorite, white and simple. He kneels on grass, still wet from morning dew, one hand pressed to the headstone that reads, "Loving wife, devoted mother, forever remembered." "I'm teaching again," he tells the stone. Tells her. Nia's doing better. She laughs more. Sleeps through the night. He pauses. "There's someone new. Her name's Sabrina. You'd like her." "She's learning to be softer. I'm learning to be present." The wind carries his words away. Somewhere behind him, Nia and Sabrina wait by the car, giving him space. "I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me," Caleb whispers. "I'm sorry I buried myself in numbers and theories while cancer buried you. But I'm here now. For Nia. For myself. For the life you wanted us to have." He stands, brushes dirt from his knees, walks back to the two people waiting for him. Sabrina's hand finds his. Nia takes the other. They drive to the community center where Sabrina's nonprofit is hosting its first annual tournament. Kids from neighborhoods nobody notices, playing poker for scholarships instead of pride. Caleb watches from the back, sees Sabrina teaching a 12-year-old girl about probability and patience. Sees the girl's eyes light up when she wins her first hand. Sees the future in small moments nobody will remember except the people who live them. "Daddy, can I play?" Nia
Caleb
tugs his
laughs.
sleeve.
Of course
"You know
you are."
how.
He watches
Sabrina's
his daughter
been teaching
join
me."
the table.
Nia grins.
Watches her shuffle
"I'm
cards
really good at
with
reading
small
tells."
hands that will grow and change and someday leave him. And he feels the weight of every choice that brought him here. The losses and wins, the mistakes and miracles, the moments when he almost gave up but didn't. Later, after the tournament, after trophies are distributed and kids scatter with dreams bigger than their circumstances, Sabrina and Caleb sit on the community center steps. Nia's inside, helping clean up. "I got an offer," Sabrina says. Caleb tenses. "For what?" "A book deal. Publisher wants me to write about walking away from poker, about finding meaning off the felt." She picks at her shoelace. "Advance is enough to expand the nonprofit. Help more kids. That's incredible. There's a catch. Always is. Book tour. 6 months. 15 cities." Sabrina meets his eyes. "I'd have to leave." The words sit heavy between them. Caleb thinks about goodbyes and distances and how many times he's watched people walk away. His wife. His dreams. His old life. "You should go," he says finally. "Really? Really?" He takes her hand. "Because running towards something you believe in isn't the same as running away." Sabrina's eyes glisten. "What about us?" "We'll figure it out." Caleb squeezes her fingers. People who matter don't disappear just because geography changes. She kisses him then, soft and certain, a promise that doesn't need words. Inside, Nia calls, "Daddy, come see what I made." Caleb stands, offers Sabrina his hand. Together, they walk into the building where a 9-year-old girl has arranged poker chips into a dragon-breathing purple fire. "It's art," Nia announces proudly. "It's perfect," Caleb says, and he means it, because perfect isn't flawless. Perfect is finding beauty in what's broken and building something better from the pieces. Perfect is a daughter who laughs despite everything she's lost. Perfect is a woman learning to care without armor. Perfect is a man who stopped running from his past and started walking toward his future. That night, Caleb tucks Nia into bed. She clutches her stuffed dragon, eyes already heavy. "Daddy?" "Yeah, baby? Are you happy?" The question catches him off guard. He thinks about MIT and game theory and the life he thought he'd live. About his wife and her laughter and the cancer that stole it. About cleaning floors and playing cards and threatening texts. About choices and consequences and second chances most people never get. "Yeah," he says softly. "I am." Nia smiles. "Good. Me too." She falls asleep holding his hand. Caleb watches her breathe, steady, peaceful, safe, and silently thanks a universe that's been cruel and kind in equal measure. In the living room, his phone buzzes. Message from Sabrina. "Thank you for believing I could be more than my worst version." He types back, "Thank you for seeing me when I was invisible." 3 dots appear. Then, "You were never invisible, just waiting to be found." What lessons will you take from Caleb's journey? Subscribe and turn on notifications for our final chapter. Share your biggest takeaway in the comments and inspire others who need to hear it today. 1 year later, Caleb walks into a lecture hall at MIT. Guest speaker, invitation from his old professors. Topic, applied game theory in real-world crisis management. The room holds 200 students, some eager, some skeptical, all wondering why a community college teacher merits this platform. Caleb stands at the podium. No notes, no slides, just a man with a story. I'm going to tell you about the most important hand I ever played, he begins. It wasn't in a casino. It wasn't for money. It was against a woman in a crimson jacket who thought she already knew who I was. He talked for 40 minutes about assumptions and invisibility, about his wife and daughter and cleaning floors, about the night everything changed because someone finally bothered to look. When he finishes, silence. Then one student raises her hand. What happened to the woman? Sabrina? Caleb smiles. She's in the back row. 200 heads turn. Sabrina stands, book tour complete, nonprofit thriving, wearing jeans instead of designer labels. She waves. She learned to see people, Caleb says. I learned to let myself be seen. That's the real game theory. Mutual recognition in a world designed to keep us hidden. Applause fills the hall. But Caleb's already looking past the crowd to where Nia sits in the front row, 10 years old now, taking notes in her dragon notebook. After the lecture, a student approaches. Young woman, nervous energy. Mr. Ross? I'm a janitor here. Night shift. Your story, it meant something. Caleb remembers bleach and mop buckets, and people who look through him like glass. What's your name? He asks. Maya. What do you want, Maya? Besides cleaning floors. She hesitates. I want to study mathematics, but I can't afford. Sabrina, Caleb calls. Come here a second. They talk scholarships and possibilities and doors that seemed closed suddenly opening. Maya leaves with an application, tears in her eyes, hope in her hands. Sabrina nudges Caleb. You can't save everyone. No, but I can see them. That's enough. They walk through campus, Caleb and Sabrina and Nia, between them. 3 people who found each other in the spaces nobody else was watching. Students rush past, chasing futures they can't predict. Somewhere a professor lectures about probability. Somewhere a janitor mops floors and dreams. Daddy, Nia says, Miss Taylor wants me to enter the math competition. You should. What if I lose? Caleb stops, kneels to her level. Then you learn. And try again. That's all any of us can do. Nia considers this. Nods. Okay, but will you help me practice? Every day, they reach Caleb's car. Still old, still rusty, still running. He unlocks it. Nia climbs in back. Sabrina takes passenger seat. Before Caleb starts the engine, his phone rings. Langford. He answers. Caleb, I need a consultant. Security audit. Someone I can trust. I'm not interested in. It's for a nonprofit casino. All proceeds to addiction recovery. They need someone who understands both sides, the game and the cost. Caleb glances at Sabrina. She nods. I'll think about it, he says. Fair enough. Take care, Caleb. You too. He hangs up, starts the car, pulls into traffic heading home. Are you going to do it? Sabrina asks. Maybe, if I can help people without losing myself again. You won't. She touches his arm. Because you're not alone anymore. In the back seat, Nia hums a song from her favorite cartoon. Outside, the city stretches endless, full of people playing games they don't understand, making bets they can't afford, hiding behind faces they think protect them. But sometimes, if you're lucky, someone sees through the masks. Someone notices you're more than the role you play. Someone believes you're worth the risk. Caleb turns onto his street, parks in front of his building. The 3 of them climb stairs to an apartment that's small and cluttered and home. They make dinner together. Nothing fancy, laughter and burnt edges and dishes that can wait. They watch a movie Nia picks, something with dragons. They exist in an ordinary miracle of being present. Later, after Nia's asleep and Sabrina's reading on the couch, Caleb stands at his window. The city glows below. Somewhere out there, people are winning and losing, hiding and seeking, becoming themselves or forgetting who they were. Sabrina joins him. What are you thinking? That I spent years playing the wrong game. He turns to her. trying to win instead of trying to matter. And now I matter to 3 people. Maybe 4 if you count Janelle. He smiles. That's enough. She kisses his cheek. More than enough. They stand together in comfortable silence. 2 people who learn that the best hands aren't about cards you hold, but who you choose to play beside. Outside, the world spins on. Inside, a father and his found family build something that can't be bet or bluffed or broken. A life worth living. A story worth telling. One hand at a time. This is just the beginning of stories that matter. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss another journey that reminds us what it means to be human. Share in the comments which moment hit you hardest. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Together, we build a community that sees people, not just their circumstances. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing stories can change us. See you in the next one.